Good morning, everybody. My name's Andrew, and today we're going to Cars Coffee Morrisville. I say we because I'm here with my friend Evan. You may remember his GLI, and my friend Mike is joining us there as well. And oh yeah, by the way, I bought an Audi S4, so we'll talk about that later too. But we're already late, so we need to go. So we're here. It is insanely busy. This is probably the busiest I've ever seen this place. I'm going to do the typical kind of walk around and show off things I like. So we'll start right here with this really, really nice looking RS6, lowered with some Vossen wheels on it. I don't know what the name of this color is. I think it's Daytona blue. Yell at me in the comments if I'm wrong. But anyway, this thing is gorgeous. And yeah, if I had 140 grand or whatever these are selling for right now, this is what I would have. This is also rather nice. Obviously, LC is a very taste-dependent car. There's lots of different options in this segment, but personally, I think it's the best looking. And this spec is also rather stunning. Excuse me, sorry. I don't know what this color is called, again, but green over tan, always a win. And over here we have a casual 959, just kind of hanging out. I've actually seen this car several times before, but it is super clean. It's really pretty. I have to point out the plate on this S4 here. Unfortunately, that's already taken, or I'd put it on mine. As you can see, we've found the exotic section now, some Porsches, Lamborghinis, Foreign Cars Italia, local Ferrari dealer brought a Portofino, which is rather nice, but one thing I'm more interested in, though, is a Karma Rivero. I was not expecting to see this today. Get a look at the inside here. Tan. Not a big fan of the tan interior, to be honest, but God, this is probably one of the best looking cars in the last 15 years, I would say. I always love seeing this Pista. This is actually belongs to the organizer of the event, Rob. Really nice F8 next to it here. Big fan of this interior spec. White leather with the black and red Alcantara. This is a really, really nice car. And on this side over here, we have an MC20, which I have not seen in person yet. And this one is really stunning, actually. It's kind of it's a satin white with a very distinct blue flake that I don't know if the camera is going to pick up very well. Obviously, as of late, Maserati has been producing some rather mediocre cars, but hopefully this will help put them back on the radar. I mean, from what I can see, the craftsmanship build quality on this is really nice. The interior design is very traditionally Italian. Actually reminds me a little bit of a 4C. And to be honest, overall, this thing, proportions-wise and interior-wise, also reminds me of the Alpine A110 that we don't get here in the US, although obviously this is a whole nother level in terms of performance. Here we have the new Hyundai Ioniq 5. I actually drove one of these recently, and I have to say, personally, I was really impressed by it. I don't think it's the most beautiful car in the world, but it drives really nice. It's smooth, it's quiet. Corvette Man? Yeah, good. That's what I thought.
There it is.
What does your Corvette do better than this?
Basically everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, looks better. Fuel economy? Better. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Zero MPG.
I was gonna say technically yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Correct. Yeah. I'm okay being seen in public with it.
And you're okay being seen in public like this as well.
I wanted to be comfortable.
If you can hear me over the Civic in the background over there, I just spent a few minutes talking to the owner of this Figaro. Super nice guy. He was saying that they imported this thing originally to the UK from Japan and then here when they moved here. And apparently his wife daily drives it, which I just think is the coolest thing in the world. It is such a pretty car. Super clean and obviously super unique as well, which I love. I was wondering where this guy went. I meant to film him while he was parked earlier, but that thing, obviously new 992 GT3 in Ruby Stone or Ruby Star, whichever one you want to call it. Not a big fan of the wheels, to be honest, but that car was for sale recently, I happen to know, locally. 357 grand is what it was listed for. If you're local to the area, you probably recognize this car. Belongs to a certain other YouTube creator here locally, Pokey Drago, if you've ever seen him around at events. He's always around, and just recently got this. I was hoping to be able to talk to him today, but he's probably off filming somewhere. Super cool car though. Okay, we're walking past a line of cars leaving, if you can hear me, and I haven't been filming anything. Yes.
Everything else where?
That's literally what I'm just saying, is I'm gonna film the Saab 9.5 and not everything else. Of course, you can't have Cars and Coffee without Mustangs, Corvettes, and Porsches. So here is another really nice 992 GT3 in ultraviolet, which of course was one of the launch colors for the 991 GT3 RS. This one is a PDK, probably can't even see that through the tint there. But this is probably the spec that I would have on this car, or dark green. I do always love a 4C. Obviously, on paper, there are many better options available for the money, but there's just something about this car. It's basically a square. It's a beautiful Italian design, and I happen to notice the front bumper down here too, which is unfortunate, but at least you know they drive it. This is rather bold, and I'm just gonna leave it at that. So I definitely forgot to film a transition after Cars and Coffee there, but as you just saw, we went to Carolina Exotic Cars, which is I guess a new exotic dealership here locally. Checked out what they had to offer at the moment, including an SVJ, which was rather nice, and another 992 GT3. But now I'm out at the property again because Evan and I wanted to just drive our cars, and I haven't really explored many of the roads around here yet. But you may have heard me mention at the beginning of the video that I bought an Audi S4. So here it is. Obviously, it's a B9 S4 pre-facelift. It's a 2018. All of the facelift cars were out of my budget, and to be honest, I like the pre-facelift more styling-wise anyway. This particular car is a super high specification. It's a Prestige model, and I think the original MSRP was somewhere in the neighborhood of $64,000, which is insane because, I mean, this thing has massaging seats, okay? Which I didn't even know when I bought it. I discovered it on the drive home after I bought it. Anyway, what I love about the S4 though, is that in typical Volkswagen fashion, it's pretty subtle compared to the regular A4, right? No crazy colors or center exit exhausts or massive wings. I mean, it's just like the Golf R in that sense, right? The only differences really between this and a regular A4 styling-wise are obviously the wheels, brakes, giant red brake calipers on this one because it's the S Sport package as well. Badges throughout. The bumpers are different, but most people wouldn't really notice them. And then of course around back, you also have different exhaust and diffuser and a little lip spoiler on the trunk. Speaking of, one of the ways that you can definitely tell this is different than an A4 is the exhaust note. Of course, because it's a different engine than the A4, 3-liter turbocharged V6, it is gonna sound quite a bit different. Take a listen. I will say it definitely does sound deeper in person, and therefore better in person, I think. A lot of people say that this S4 doesn't sound very good, and I will say that the BMW 6-cylinder definitely does sound better, but I don't think this one sounds bad. You get some nice little pops there, as you can hear, and you get silly fart noises on shift, so I don't hate it. It could be better, and there is a lot of fake noise on the inside, but I don't hate it. On the inside, this S4 features the sport seats and the optional full Nappa leather interior with the quilted stitching there on the seats. These seats, like I said before, they are massaging and of course have adjustable side bolsters as well. I also like the accent stitching here on the door, as well as the Alcantara and carbon fiber, which is also optional. Something that's not optional, since it's a Prestige though, is the virtual cockpit, fully digital gauge cluster here. And if I take my sunglasses off there, you can have your map here, or big like that. Everybody's seen this a million times, so I won't bore you with that right now. But one complaint that I do have in here, screen related, is the fact that this center infotainment screen is not a touch screen. It didn't become a touch screen until the facelift cars. So you have to use this dial down here and the buttons, but honestly, it's a pretty intuitive system to use once you get the hang of it. And overall though, this is just a really nice interior. Obviously, I'm gonna go way more into depth once I do a full video on this car, but really nice place to be, and I'm pretty happy with this purchase. On that subject, actually, how did I end up with an S4? Well, if you saw my Ram video recently, I talked in that video a bit about what I was thinking about getting rid of it and what I was considering next, but at that point I was really just considering hot hatchbacks, Golf R, Veloster N. I was also looking at a Jetta GLI, but I just happened to come across this S4 and went and drove it, liked it, and they got a good trade-in value for the Ram, and here we are. And I've been super happy with it thus far, so I think it was the right decision. The hunt is now on for some sort of cheap beater truck, but I'll make a separate video about that once I get one. And of course, I'll do more videos with this, do a full in-depth walk around at some point, MPG tests. I'm probably going to tune it, code it with OBD11, all kind of stuff. I've got lots of plans for this thing. So on that note, I'm going to wrap this video up here. No idea how long this video is going to end up being, but hopefully you enjoyed it anyway. It's been a chaotic day, to say the least, but I still enjoyed it. So if you did, give it a thumbs up, or consider subscribing for plenty more content with this car and others.